Welcome to Oracle Bootcamp 101. This is our introduction to basic navigation. What is Oracle? Oracle, as a corporation, started off as a database company. As time goes by, the company grows, and it leverages its strength in database and starts developing an ERP suite. This beautiful campus was my home for quite a few years. In this module, I am going to first start off with an introduction. This will give you a feel of what the course is all about, and you can decide whether it is for you or not. The point is, I want you to make the best use of your time. I am willing to spend some time to prepare this course because I feel like I have a lot of knowledge that is in my head and that I would love to pass on to others like you who may find this information useful. I am also give you some basic knowledge of Oracle e-Business Suite. I will give you a very brief overview of the whole suite so you understand what it is. Towards the end of this module, I am also going to give you some simple tips and tricks that even some experienced users may not know. These are little shortcuts that I find are extremely useful and could potentially save you a lot of time, so stay put. First of all, before we move on, let me give you a brief overview of myself. My name is Minna, and I have been working as an Oracle ERP consultant in the past 15 years. I had the advantage of actually working at this beautiful Oracle campus that is in the Bay Area, California for many years. And this is where I picked up all my Oracle skills. But I wasn't always an expert. In fact, when I started working for Oracle, I had no idea what e-Business Suite is all about. I have had experiences with other accounting software before, and I have a business degree and background, so I am familiar with the business environment. But still, I'm a new user myself. So when I started working, I was put into a client site. I have no training, and I was expected to be an expert on a subject that I have personally no clue what it is. And some of you may have a similar story. You may be familiar with the accounting process, and in fact, you may be very good at it, but it is the actual mechanics of using the software that is pulling you back. So I have a very steep learning curve, and I had to learn really fast. As soon as I realized that it is not as daunting as it seemed, I became more comfortable. You would see some weird error messages here and there, but don't let it bother you. You will learn to deal with it. After a while, it's a piece of cake. And that's what I have hoped for you. I envision you to be familiar with your job, but due to some type of circumstances, either your company is implementing Oracle or if you are planning to join a company that is already running Oracle, I will make the transition easy for you. And once you understand the basics, it's not that hard at all. So who is this course for? As I mentioned earlier, I had a very rough time ramping up my skills. And I sincerely hope that you don't have to go through the same emotional and mental journey that I had to go through. And this is why I created this course. It is meant to give you an overview of how things work so you have a basic understanding before you start working with an Oracle environment. Why do I create this course? I've seen a lot of clients who are initially frustrated due to either a lack of skills or an understanding of Oracle ERP. They feel outdated and they're not able to compete. They would hear an Oracle lingo and they don't know what it means, and as a result, they feel like it is complicated and it's hard to understand. So I'm here to make it easy for you. I'm going to show you the foundations, the basics to how to navigate through Oracle like a pro. I will introduce some of the lingo to you and explain how that is used. I am not going into any of the technical details since most of you may not need to know that. For the most part, once you know the basics, you can work through any module in any company. Trust me on this. I have trained and worked with hundreds of users. Each company have their setups and the data will be definitely different, but the navigation skills, the foundations are always the same. Many of my customers are people who work in companies who are transitioning into Oracle. Some may take this course to give them an edge when they look for a new job, a new career, or even to advance in their current position. Or you may inspire to do what I do, which is to implement Oracle solutions for customers. Either way, I am sure you will find some very good, valuable information that I will be sharing with you. This course is very simple. I will walk you through the various screens that you will see when you log into Oracle. I will give you a basic understanding of what ERP is all about, and I'm going to show you some very basic navigation knowledge and give you some simple tips and tricks. But first, let me explain to you what Oracle E-Business Suite is. E-Business Suite means is for companies as a backbone in the financials and manufacturing operations. When you visit the Oracle website and looked up E-Business Suite, you will see that it is mainly in 3 areas: financial management, project portfolio management, and advanced procurement. Financial management would include many modules such as cash management, general ledger, accounts payable, accounts receivable, etc., etc. Personally, this is where most of my expertise is in. Project portfolio management involves everything around Oracle projects, costing, accounting, and everything. Now let me stress that I don't have much experience in this area. However, the foundation I teach you will be applicable to many of the modules here, so you won't feel left out. Advanced procurement has everything to do with sourcing and purchasing, maintaining suppliers, and so on. One thing to note though is that even though we list these as 3 separate areas, they are intertwined. Even though every area has multiple modules, everything works together, everything is interconnected. To give you an example, procurement, when we place an order, we will receive a purchase order, we receive the goods that we placed, and eventually the receiving transactions will flow up into accounts payables as a invoice, and payables will be posted into GL. So every module is somehow interrelated and they're all connected. Now let's move on to some basic knowledge that you should know about Oracle ERP. First you should know, of course, is how do you log in? Oracle applications are accessed through a URL. It can be hosted by Oracle or by a company or even by an external party. But either way, you will open up Internet Explorer or another web browser, type in the link, and you will see a login page like this one. Now the username and password is going to be given by your Oracle administrator. Every company has different password rules and they're usually case sensitive. Bear in mind though that there are some companies that use a single sign-on, in short SSO, that will allow you to skip this login step just by logging to a company's internal network. In that case, then you don't need to go through this login screen at all, which is perfect. But what is an instance? Some people call it a box, some people call it an environment. It's just a place that holds the Oracle installation and data. All companies that are currently using Oracle will have a production instance. This is where you will enter all your live data. What else is there? Some companies would have other instances for development and support purposes. They may call it a wide variety of names such as development, testing, QA, patching, etc. All these instances are for play purposes, meaning they don't impact your real life data. All these play instances are copy of production at some point, but they typically stay on for a few days, a few weeks, or even a few months before they get the data refreshed. So a quick tip that I often tell my clients to do is to change the color of these play instances so that you know when you're doing live data, when you're just doing a play instance. All of them would have a different URL, so make sure you're using the right one. When you log into Oracle, this is a page that you will see. This is your main navigator page, and it's still on your browser. On the top right corner, you will see your username, just to make sure that you don't log into someone else, just in case. But let's focus on the left side. What you see here as I scroll down, this is all the responsibilities that you have when you log in as your username. In most cases, you won't see such an extensive list. I am logged into what we call a Fission instance. Now, Fission instance is a play instance that is provided by Oracle that has some data that is pre-done for you, pre-set up for you, and is meant for consultants or users to go in and play around and test different theories and different configurations. So this is the instance that I'm in. And I'm just going to choose one of these to show you what it looks like. Now let me go back to cache management, Fission operations. This tells me two things. One is I am doing cache management functionalities. The other thing it's telling me is I am logged into a company called Fission Operations. What is that? Fission Operations in Oracle terms is an operating unit. It is basically a company, a transactional use that is for you to enter transactions, and operating unit will eventually roll up to a set of books or a ledger in our 12 terms. So for demonstration purposes, let me go into cache management, Fission operations, and here you'll see a plus sign. Just click on that, or you can click on cache management itself. It will do the same thing. What it's going to do is going to expand it to submenus, and you can keep doing that for a few more levels. I'm going to manual clearing and go to clear transactions. And when you see a folder, that means you have more submenus inside. When you see an icon like this one, that means that is the actual form that we're going into. So let's click on that. Go to clear transactions. And Oracle would take you to a form that looks like this. This is what we call a standard Oracle form. Now let me explain. There are two types of Oracle forms in EBS. What you see here is a standard form, or what we call the older type of forms. And I'm going to spend most of my time in this type of forms because it is more commonly used, and also because it requires more explanation. The other type of form, which is a new form, is an HTML based form, which will look like anything that when you surf on the web, it's going to look like that type of form. So it's a little easier to navigate, but it also takes longer without the shortcut keys. For now, I'm just going to X out this form. So to close the form, just click the X, and you are back into the main navigator. Now on the left side, there's 5 buttons here. This is the first set of shortcut keys that I'm going to show you. If you just land on your mouse onto the icon itself, it tells you what it does. So the plus sign means it's going to expand. Minus sign means it's going to collapse. The plus with the down arrow means it's going to expand branch. Plus plus means expand all. And minus minus means on the other side collapse all. So what does it mean? Let's say if I'm on bank statements, you see there's a plus sign next to it, meaning there are submenus under bank statements. So if you highlight blank statements and you click on expand, it will bring it up one level. I'm going to collapse it back down. So you see bank statements. If you click on expand branch, it will expand to every level down for bank statements. I can also hit expand all, which will expand all the menus within my navigator. Now you see how long this list is? And I can just go collapse all just to make it back to a clean line. So that's our style buttons. What it does is it will allow you to look through the list and find out the one that you want to go into. Next, I wanted to show you how to search for data in Oracle. But first, let me go back to my PowerPoint. And I want you to write down two things. In order for us to do an effective search in Oracle, you have to remember actually three things. The F11 key, Control F11 key, and the Control L. So what I want you to find on your keyboard is the F11 key and the Control key. These will be your best friends when you're using Oracle. Now let me switch back. I'm back to the main navigator, and how are we going to search for something? Remember I asked you to write down a Control L? Well, here's how you do it. Hold down the Control key and click on L. What it does is it gives you a list of values of everything that's available in your window. And in the Find box, you will see a % sign. This is what Oracle calls the wildcard. So let's, for instance, if I want to look for currency rates, if I search for %rate %, that will give me everything that contains the word rate in it. If I change it out and I go %rate, all it does is it's going to return me everything that ends with the word rate. So if I go rate % and I could find, it will give me everything that start with the rate and end with anything else. For searching purposes, let me go back to %rate %, hit find. You will see two selections here, conversion rate types and daily rates. If you want to go into one of these, just click on that and hit OK, and it will take you right to that form. For now, let me close this out. Again, just click the X. Back to Navigator. What I'm going to show you is to change colors. Remember what I mentioned earlier, that changing color is not a necessary step. It is cool, and this is more personalized. And if you do have access to different instances, I do recommend this as best practice for my clients, just because then you don't get confused with where you are. Sometimes the URLs are very similar, you don't remember which instance you're on. And the last thing you want to do is enter live data into a test instance, or even worse is to enter test data into a live instance. So I'm going to show you how to use the F11 and the Control F11 keys. The default color you see here is like a baby bluish theme. Now I'm going to click Control L again. That will bring me to the search form, and I'm going to look for something else. This time I'm going to look for profile. So I'm going to enter %profile %, hit find. And if this is the only choice that I have, Oracle will take you right to that form. And the form here is called the personal profile values. What it does is Oracle allows you to personalize certain things for your user only, and these are set up in personal profile values. For example, your print preferences. Your printer is one thing that you probably want to personalize for yourself. The other thing which I'm going to show you here is the color. So to search for something in Oracle is two steps. One is what we call to enter the query. The second step is to execute the query. So there's two steps. So let's go on to step one first. Step one is to enter the query, and for us to do that, click on the F11 key. you would notice that because my cursor is on the first column, the cell itself actually changed color. So here I'm going to enter my search criteria again, which is %color %. Now be careful with Oracle. Some forms it is not case sensitive, some forms it is, and it is not consistent, I gotta say. So personally, I make it best practice to always use the right case. So if you're following me, go ahead and enter %color %. And remember what step 2 is? Step 2 is to execute the query. And to execute it, hold down the Control key and click F11 again. What it's going to do is going to look for everything that contains color in my first column. And you can actually scroll up and down to see your selections. The one I'm looking for is called Java Color Scheme. Java Color Scheme. The default value is 1. This is the blue color that you're seeing here. I want to change it to something else. So under User Value, this is your personal selection. Click on these 3 dots. This is called List of Values button. If you click on this, it will tell you everything that's available for you to choose from. I'm a purple girl, so I'm going to choose purple. Click OK. Now you can either click Ctrl S to save. Ctrl S is the same as a Windows command. That means save in Oracle as well. If you want to be a little more sophisticated, there are a bunch of buttons on top bar here. I'm not going to explain everything on the top bar in this lesson, but you can always use the floppy disk. Remember this floppy disk? It's been like 30 years old. This is the save button. So go ahead and click that. And it's going to save your selection for you. Now remember that if you're changing Java color schemes, it doesn't take effect right away. You actually have to log out and log back in before your changes take effect. So here I'm done with my selection. I'm going to have it X out. The next thing I want to show you is the top 10 list. When we are back in the navigator on the right side, here is the top 10 list. And when you first log in as a new user, this is going to be blank like what you see now. What it does is it gives you easy access to 10 things or up to 10 items that you use the most, and you can just use your number button on the keyboard to access anything on this list. How do you use this? It's very simple. If I want to, what do I want? Let's say on bank statements, manual clearing, I want to clear transactions as my number 1 on top 10 list. So highlight clear transactions and click on the arrow, bring it to the right side, and voila, number 1 is clear transactions. Let's say 2, I want to do bank account transfers, and I'm just going to again click to add to list, and it becomes number 2. So it's going to go in order. If I want unclear transactions to be my 3rd item on the list, so go ahead and add that to the list. Now if you click on your keyboard, look at number 1 key, just click on number 1, it would open up clear transactions for you. Then you don't have to look for where the clear transaction is on your navigator. It's going to open up for you just by clicking on number 1. Let me X out. There's no way to rearrange these up and down, but what you can do is remove number 2, So that will remove from list. Just click on the arrow. And then 1 becomes clear, and the third item becomes number 2. And then subsequently, you can add something else back to number 3. And you can add up to 10 lists in this box. And this is your top 10 list. Okay, so let's do a quick recap before we finish off. We've learned something about Oracle, what their e-business suite is. We've also learned that there are many different modules, that it is virtually impossible for anyone to be an expert in all modules. So don't be intimidated about Oracle. It is just a tool that can help you to be more efficient and productive in the long run. Then I've talked a little bit about logging into the application. What are instances? What does responsibilities mean in Oracle? This is very helpful knowledge for you. I have also showed you the main navigator, the side buttons. I show you how to do a search. Remember the Control L, F11 and the Control F11 keys. I showed you how to change colors. And last but not least, I showed you how to use the top 10 list. These are all very handy little tools that you could use and will help you. And these are all the foundation skills that you need when you go into an Oracle application. So voila, you survived. The information I gave you is fundamental. It builds a foundation. If you would like to learn more about navigation, multi-org structures, flex field, advanced shortcuts, techniques, how to run reports, or even how to personalize your homepage, each one of these topics are actually quite big and deserve its own place. There's just too much information for me to share with you here, so I am actually in the process of creating an extended course, so do leave me your contact information. You can either visit my website at oraclebootcamp101.com, or you can send me an email at oraclebootcamp101@gmail.com. When my class becomes available, I will email you, I will notify you, and you can decide whether you can take the course or not. But for now, I hope you have enjoyed this course and have a great day.